Yay, we're live. Good morning, everybody. I'm doing this on my phone, so it might look a little bit different. I'm not sure if it will. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Katie. Happy Saturday. Feels like it's been forever. I've just been in some crazy intensive training, and so it feels like it's been so long since I've been with you guys. And I have so many emails in my inbox and comments I need to respond to. So I love you all. I'm not ignoring you. I'm that's part of my to-do list today is to really get caught up with all of the things that you guys are lovingly and supportively sending me. And if you're watching this after it's live, comment down below and tell me where you're watching this from. Because I love to see all the different countries, all the different states in the US, all the different places all around the world that you guys watch from. And I know I have a lot of people all over the world. So comment down below and let me know where you're watching this from. Okay, so I want to jump in here. First off, if you are watching this live, it's 7:30 a.m., which means I'm like 30 minutes behind. That's because I'm trying to catch up on some sleep. But I want to jump in here and I want to share something about resiliency because you know what, there are going to be challenges, things that we see as challenges. There are going to be things that we do not expect, we're not expecting. There's resistance when we are creatives, when we are building a business, when we are doing anything on the online platform. Honestly, if we are doing anything that is semi-challenging in life, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be things that are difficult and hard. It's Alan! Woo woo! Love it. Alan is in the house and Alan just retired, which is awesome. And he's got a whole lot of things that he's doing. So talk about being creative and jumping through, really like pushing through the resistance to get the thing that you want. That's a perfect example of how powerful that is. So there's always going to be perceived challenges. There's always going to be things that are unexpected, all of that. Guaranteed. If you're living life to the fullest, you're going to run into resistance. So the question is, what do we do when we hit that? What are we doing when we hit that? So I went through some crazy training this week and really crazy hours and really hard stuff. And it was so amazing because every time I thought like, man, I don't think I can do anymore. I don't think I can keep on going. Um, there was two things that happened. One, I was able to really shift what I was telling myself. So in my head lately, I have been every time I get negative, every time I'm like, well, they're probably not going to answer that text, or they're probably not going to call me back, or that thing is probably not going to happen. I check myself. I stop myself and I say, like, it's like I'm talking in my head and saying, Katie, cut it out, knock it off. You don't know that. You don't know that person isn't going to say yes. You don't know that person isn't going to. Stop setting yourself up for failure. Stop setting yourself up for disappointment. So, part of handling resistance in a beautiful, powerful way is checking your head, checking what your head is telling you is going to happen. Oftentimes, and I can say this for myself, oftentimes I protect myself by being negative internally. I protect myself by saying, this probably won't happen, so that I won't be disappointed when it doesn't happen. But the reality is, if any of you are like me, you know that doesn't work. You're still disappointed. You're still bummed out. Um and so what we get to do is we get to shift how we're talking, not only how we're talking to ourselves, but how we're talking to other people. Because let me tell you, how I talk in my head is how I talk to my people. It's how I talk to my family. It's how I talk to my friends. It's how I talk to my clients. Like everything about you is you're showing up that way everywhere. And if you think that you're able to like do that double life thing, it doesn't work. Like you are, that's how you're showing up. So the first kind of tip, the first thing to recognize with handling resistance is understanding what you're telling yourself and making sure to balance that out, making sure to check yourself. The second thing that was so impactful during this training is having an amazing team, having an amazing experience where we all got to support each other. And so every time I kind of got in my head, I had my people to say, hey, Katie, you need to get out of your head because you're in your head right now. So lean on your people, lean on the people that you can trust. And I am so like now moving forward, I am so appreciative of feedback. When I was young, when I was like grade school, middle school, even high school, and even up until this point, like I tried to appreciate, like, feedback is basically anything that somebody says about you, anything that somebody says about anything. Like, feedback is just all the stuff that comes at you. And so oftentimes we can look at that as negative. If somebody says, Katie, I don't like your shirt, well, that's feedback. Or Katie, like, I don't think blue is a good color on you. Katie, that's feedback. Like it's not negative. It's just you saying, okay, like, this is what it is. And so when you ask for it, when you say, hey, like, call me out when I'm being this way, call me out when I am talking to myself this way or talking to other people this way, is so powerful, because then you notice it because other people are noticing it, and you realize the weight of what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing. So ask your people to call you out when you're being like a jerk. Ask your people to call you out when you're not being the best version of you, because and I'm a Christian, so much of this comes into like discipline, self-control, like we get to be so in alignment with what God wants us to be. And so the powerful part about that is when we have accountability around us, it teaches us that. It teaches us that so much faster and so much quicker. Like, it's just amazing. So have your people around you to say, hey, lovingly, this is feedback for you to know, like, this is how you're talking. This is how you're talking to me. This is how you're talking to yourself. So the first one, check yourself. The second one, have other people check yourself. And finally, what I would say in the game of resistance, when you are facing something that is challenging, that is difficult to you, that feels difficult, understand that we carry out what is going to happen so many times in our head. I remember sharing this in another video, and I want to tell you a little story because I think this is so powerful, and I just was interacting with this person, and it was so cool. So when I was in middle school and high school, I took piano lessons. Our whole family took piano lessons. But the struggle, my struggle, the thing that was making me feel bad and making me frustrated, was that because I don't have hands, I was like, how am I going to make this work? And it was easy and it was fun at the beginning because I could just pluck out the notes. But as I gained levels up, as I moved levels up, I started hitting that resistance of not being able to play the music exactly the way that it was written, because I couldn't play chords and I had to roll them and I had to do different things. And there were so many times when I just wanted to give up and give in and be done. And my piano teacher, if she ever watches this, like, I love you so much. My piano teacher did something for me that changed my entire life. It's changed who I am completely. She never gave up on me. She never let me quit. She never allowed me to sit in my self-pity. She never allowed me to sit in the thing I was telling myself, the like, I always say, don't throw yourself off the cliff before you're even on the cliff. It's like you're already sending yourself over the cliff because you're saying this is not going to work out. You haven't even hit that moment where it's not going to work out. So the reality is, she didn't let me do that. She didn't let me jump off the cliff. She just said, Katie, you can do this. You can figure it out. I know you have it in you, and you can problem solve. And that's where I've learned so much of that. Just understanding that there was somebody that, like, never gave up on me. My mom never gave up on me. She was like, Katie, you need to practice. You need to practice. You need to practice. And between the two of them, I still play piano, and I play it more for a hobby now. But I pushed myself so far, so much further than I thought I was going to, because I didn't give up on me, and my people didn't give up on me. Understand that what you're telling yourself is not always what it is. What you're telling yourself is not always what's happening. When I walked into my piano lessons, I told myself I'm not going to be able to play that song. I want to play it, but I can't play it. I told myself I can't play it. That's not true. I can play it. I just have to be creative. And my piano teacher was awesome because, like, she was so creative in how she helped me to understand, like, the essence of the song so that I could play it even though I couldn't play all the notes. And it was so powerful to see that really come through in my business, in my creative life, in my personal, like, in every aspect of my life, being resilient and pushing through and not giving up on yourself, not giving up on your people. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. If you do not give up when you hit that first resistance, you're going to keep on going further. Some of the most amazing, most successful business owners in the world had to deal with serious resistance. They had to push through people who didn't believe in their product or their idea. They had to push through their own self-doubt of like, well, I don't think this is really going to work. I don't know if this is going to like, so it's not like just doubt of what they could do, doubt of what if people wanted it. And they had to push through a lot of logistics and a lot of things that were difficult and hard and messy. So think about this as you're creating. Think about this when you hit that wall where you're like, I don't think I can do this. Honestly, guys, I didn't want to show up this morning. I was so tired and I was like, I'm just not. So I pushed it back to 7:30 and I'm like, no, Katie, you need to get up. You need to do this. You need to make this happen. And so the idea is when you hit that resistance, when you hit that moment where you're like, I don't know if I can do this, change the way you're talking about it. Lean on your people, 100% lean on your people, and understand that what you're telling yourself it hasn't happened yet. What you're telling yourself is the conclusion hasn't even happened yet. And that should be exciting to you. That's exciting to me because sometimes I get so stuck in my head that I realize I am 100% believing that what hasn't happened has already happened. And so when I check myself and say, hold up, what am I telling myself right now? Like when I've done shows, I have told myself like I'm working with a team now. And so it's awesome. They do all the admin work for me. But originally I was hosting shows and I was going out and doing all the research for my speakers. I was emailing all of them. I was like freaking out about not having enough for the shows and fitting in slots and things. And honestly, there were so many times where I told myself, you're not going to have enough speakers for this. It's going to flunk. Nobody's going to show up. It's going to be all the things. And there were times where I paid for that. I paid for those. There were consequences for me telling myself that was already going to happen because then basically I created that. That's what happened. And so we get to change how we're talking about things. We get to change how we walk into things. And just like my piano teacher didn't give up on me and said, you need to change your attitude about this. You need to change your attitude when you walk in and say, I can't do it. You get to change it to, how can I make this work? How can I be creative and figure it out? How can I figure it out? That is 100% what this is about. So as a creator, think about this in your life. How many times are you saying, I don't think I can do this. I can't do this. I'm not capable. This isn't going to work. This isn't the way I expected it. All of that it's just what you're thinking of. It's just what you're thinking it's going to go. You're thinking it's going to go that way, but it hasn't actually happened yet. So shift how you're talking about it because it's so dangerous. And so there's so much loss when you're just living in the highs and lows and you're stuck in your head and you're stuck in, pity, and you're stuck in I can't make this work and all the things. Be creative, be resilient, be determined to do what you want to do, because that is what this is about. That's what this is about. If you can learn that, then you can do anything, because you will not give up every time you need to learn something, you need to figure something out, you need to troubleshoot, you need to act fast, all the things. You will learn how to do all of those things naturally if you are so determined to complete and to commit. You will do anything if you are fully 100% committed. 100%. Okay, so guys, today is going to be a shorter day than most days. But I'm happy I hopped on here because Alan, love you. I love that you're always showing up and you're always supportive, and it's amazing and it's so fun. And I just want you guys to know it felt really weird to not be hanging out with you guys this week. And so I'm super excited to jump into next week and just be with you guys. So yeah, if you're watching this after the fact and you're not subscribed yet, you should totally do that, because there's amazing content on here. Normally I have way more energy than I do right now. Oh man, it's crazy. Okay guys, so Alan, great stuff. I love it. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you go create amazing things. Think about how you're thinking about things. That sounds so dorky. Just be aware of how you're thinking about things, because that can 100% send us into a spiral and we can get stuck. So just think about it and pay attention and let your people know that you get to allow feedback into your life. You get to allow people to be honest with you and tell you how it is. And I've spent so much of my life running away from feedback. I've spent so much of my life, and I realize like I'm in my 20s, but I've spent so much of my childhood and my teen years resisting feedback and resisting um, words of wisdom from my amazing people, that I lost out on that accountability. I lost out on that feedback because I was so thinking that it was negative. I was telling myself this thing that it wasn't going to serve me because I didn't feel good about it. So just pay attention to how you're responding to your people. All right, you guys, I hope you have an awesome morning, an awesome day. Happy Saturday. And I am going to go do something active to get my energy up, because it's crazy. I'm low energy today. So I'm going to go do something fun to get my energy up. I suggest you do the same. Let's rock this out together. I love you all so very much, and I will see you on the next video. Now, let's see if I can actually end this on my phone without going crazy. All right, you guys, bye.